Hello, everybody. Hi, hopefully the sound's okay. Obviously, let me know. Hi, Jandon. Hi, Tawny C. Hi, Desert Rain. Hi, the McClarys. And no, I haven't moved across the pond, but I'm glad that this time is better for you. That makes me happy. And hello, Pete Thomas. Yeah, right, coffee shop, Black Sheep. That's interesting. I like that name. Hi, Don Lambert. Hi, Meatball. Okay, I think I'm caught up to everybody. Hello. All right. So today, well, I'm not going to say we're going to get through everything because we most likely won't. Hi, Gina G. Hello. We definitely won't, actually, because I made some interesting discoveries today. So obviously, I have to go back, but we are at least going to start our introduction to Mr. Michael Thevis, the Scarface of porn, the Sultan of smut, the pornography kingpin, who owned a studio that Wayne Williams worked at. Yes, Wayne Williams of the Atlanta child murders. Some of this stuff is going to be kind of dark, not as dark as the Willowbrook Young Street ATL episode, but there's still going to be some pretty graphic topics, obviously, because this dude he's real rough. He's real rough. Hello, Lindsay. Hello, Tom Cooper. I hope that you're having a good day too, sir. So I'm going to go ahead and run the intro, and then we're just going to get into it. So I will BRB.
Game. I keep it 100 cause my word is born in the hood, it don't change. Coming up from nothing, hustling for my money, now I'm gripping grain. I'm beating it down your block, setting up another shop. Gotta watch out for these ops, for the block is fucking hot. Put the money inside my sock, watching all of my pictures fly. Nickeling down me busted, then I promise that your body drop. Bitch, I'm snatching chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Keeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines slow. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo. Bitch, I'm snatching chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Keeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines slow. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo. Coming up out the bushes with a red dot. I'm aiming to kill, pushing the pill with the steel. Put in my pocket, rocket to your grill. Fuck how you feel, bringing the ruckus, ain't no time to sleep. Ready, Google with no passion, slit your throat and let you bleed. You want gunplay? Let them guns spray. But I promise you that this ain't what you want, man. I'm off that Novocaine, smoking propane. Hit him in the fucking chest and see the blood drain. I'ma kick dope, coke, me want all the smoke. Kick into your mama house for my 44. Bullet shells, cap dancing all on the floor. Bring me all the static, cause Gorilla wants some more. Bitch, I'm snatching chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Keeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines slow. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo. Bitch, I'm snatching chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Keeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines slow. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo.
Don't forget, we are out here fighting Demon Jaw, and I'm definitely fighting the internet demons. Hello, AZ. Thank you so much, Virginia. I appreciate that. Let me see. Hello, Ola Ivermectin. Hello, JD Lotus. Hello, Sulin Dornbos. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And okay, I think that I've caught up to everybody. All right, so hello, Margaret Walker. Hello. All right, so I am going to... I'm not going to give this dude's full life story. He is a very interesting character, but this dude ties into literally everything. Everything. And I didn't know that he tied in directly to the New York Mafia, specifically into a couple of the notorious crime families, which is really fascinating. So obviously I'm going to have to come back and dig into that. But in talking about Wayne Williams, the Atlanta child murders, the Process Church of the Final Judgment, aka Best Friends Animal Society, not just looking at what was going on in Georgia, because he's a kingpin, and he was. And he lies about his mafia ties, but I found him. I found him, and I'm going to show you guys. Uh, it's really what's going on in New Orleans, and I've mentioned it a few times in the past that the New Orleans records are so locked down, but technically that's where the process first got incorporated, right? And he's a very busy boy in New Orleans as well. But I want to show you guys some pictures. That way you can see who he is. And like I said, we're not going to go through every single thing, but I just at least want to give you guys a taste for him. Hello, Matt Gagnon and Dr. Corbeau. Hello, and Eshni and Angie Power Disney. Hello, and Jaime Brussel Project. Okay, I think I'm caught up. All right, let's go ahead and take a peek at Mr. Michael Thevis. So, most people may know him from his wanted by the FBI photo because he did escape from prison. Racketeer, influence in corrupt organizations, murder, arson, mail fraud, conspiracy, Michael George Thevis. Yeah. So, he was a busy boy. And right there, the king of pornography, the sultan of smut, the Scarface of porn, and the Scarface of sex. And here's him with one of his old ladies that he gets into quite a bit of trouble with later on. Quite a bit of trouble with. She is a Tatiana for the devil, straight up. Now, so this GRC, this is one of his many record corporations, part of his empire, because it wasn't just porn, he was involved in everything. Now, this picture on the right, because a lot of his publications were under a company called Peachtree, this was a show that was supposed to come out, and they put the kibosh on it. And I probably shouldn't zoom in too much because apparently these are the covers of some of this stuff, but I thought that this logo, and this little collage was pretty accurate, so I grabbed it. But yeah, they put the kibosh on that show. And for anybody who has seen Poor Pretty Eddie, he does all the things you like to forget. Dun dun dun. So this was a Michael Thevis production. I have not seen it, but I don't know. That little headline made me chuckle a bit. Yeah, a Michael Thevis enterprise. So, something that I found very interesting about this, because his legal troubles start before this. However, so it was being shot in Athens, Georgia. I have every single business name of his underlined because I have to come back because I am creating a massive data bank of all of his companies. But it says, according to Thevis, executive producer of the film, we are working closely with Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter. That's going to come in handy later. We're not going to talk about that right this second, but that is going to come in handy because there's some pretty crazy allegations against him about Jimmy Carter. I mean, it's not super crazy, but it's like this dude was a complete scumbag. Peachtree is a famous street in Atlanta. Yes, absolutely, it is. Yeah, when I was looking it up, because I'm not super familiar with Atlanta, but he has I think it's Peachtree Publications and then Peachtree News. I mean, he has so many shell companies on top of shell companies, and I just keep finding more. So obviously I have to go in the corporate records and see what I can find. Hello, Gary Bellwood. Didn't he wind up on the beach on the wrong side of Cayo Hueso? I have no idea. Hello, Swamp Fox. Anything with Shelley Winters, LMAO. I haven't seen it. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I mean, I'm probably gonna end up checking it out, quite frankly. I think I'm gonna have to. Now I want to show you guys this one article that I found because this is him, and it's almost like a puff piece. And I think it's very interesting. We're not going to read through the whole thing. I just want you guys to see some of the pictures and what I've underlined. It's fascinating to me how complicit the press was, like in everything else, right? Like in everything else, as far as I would say facilitating this type of corruption. But they do leave in some little chestnuts of wisdom for us to glean. So, right here, this is the abdication of a pornography king, the Atlanta Constitution, 1974. Look at that shirt. Look at that shirt. If life hands you a bunch of lemons, open a lemonade stand. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so let's see what I have over here. So this is just because I'm going to show you guys the corporate records for this studio that he's talking about. Thevis had sunk 1.2 million in the Sound Pit, a lavishly appointed studio complex on Simpson Street, and had started recording local singers and musicians. That's where Wayne Williams comes in. And then his recording company, I showed you guys that album a few minutes ago, GRC. He owns office buildings in Nashville's Record Row and in LA, and is operating in Australia, England, Japan, and Germany. So he's a busy boy. He's a very busy boy. And right here, he wanted to be a priest when he was young. So I don't really know what to tell anybody about that. I can't tell what type of dog is in the photo, which is driving me nuts. And if you're here, you know why, because I'm very curious. But that's his mansion. That's his mansion. The hotel-sized Thevis mansion perches atop its hill. Thevis offered it free to the city as a school for gifted kids. That's not suspicious at all. That's not suspicious whatsoever, right? And I thought that this was super interesting because if you guys remember when I found the process getting kicked out of a Billy Graham rally, well, this guy, he said because prominent friends asked him to do so, he contributed a large sum of money to the Billy Graham crusade. Okay, I will definitely be coming back to that. That's his house. It's all very lavish, all very cush. Yeah, so there's that. Now, dang it, I knew it was going to happen. Okay, so right here. So, obviously, as you guys saw, when he busted out of prison, had a few charges against him. Thevis says the major embarrassment of his pornography days was the gangland-style killing of a business associate, Jap Hanna, whose body was found in the trunk of a car at Atlanta's airport. Thevis claims that he and Hannah were associated for a short time in two adult bookstores and that he later bought Hannah out. Well, we'll find out more about that later. But right here, he's talking about New York. He says a friend called him up and said, "You got to come up here. It's a matter of life and death." And he's talking about the mafia. He says his rumors with the mafia, it's all a lie. Not true. I'm going to show you guys it's not true. However, right here, I thought that this was very interesting. So he's talking about the beginning of his career as far as getting into porno specifically. So him and a friend at Georgia Tech who was a design engineer, they went in together to create a service-free peep show box, which I'm like, okay, you know, I would like to know who the friend was because I think that that's really interesting. Kind of curious, especially if they are an engineer. And right here, I again will be coming back to this. His start in the quote unquote adult business was as an ideological rebel, a newsstand dealer who became a publisher of controversial books on theological matters. Oh, really? You don't say. The first book he published was called The Godless Christians and was written by Thomas Altizer, the much discussed Emory professor who created a stir with his pronouncement that God is dead. And then he produced a second one, The Anatomy of the Ministry. Okay, so whatever you say, I don't buy any of that. I think it's a total crock. And that's it for that. Okay, so we'll come back to the rest of that in a second because I see the chat moving. Let me say hello. Who did I miss? Sorry, guys. Was that the peanut farmer president? Oh, yeah, I'm going to show you guys the later article that I found in the Georgia archives. Absolutely. Yep, that's him. Old Jimmy Carter. Hello, John Nada. And hello, Soil Lodge. Welcome. And let me see. Offered a school for gifted kids. Super sus. Yeah, I think it's extremely suspicious. I think it's extremely suspicious. Let me see. Mafia has been involved with porn, though. Oh yeah, no. The whole him denying the mafia angle. You know, he's like, these are rumors that were started by police. Blah 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 blah. Not true. It's absolutely not true. Obviously, it took a while for these things to come out, but I mean, this dude is all over the country. He's literally all over the country. And you know what? While we're talking about the mob stuff, I'll just pull it up now. That way I don't forget because we're not going to get through everything with him today. That just ain't going to happen. Today, specifically, though, I do want to show you guys his business partner and lawyer, who's an absolute scumbag. Who's an absolute scumbag. And someone who knows someone that was friends with Barry Seal at one point reached out to see if they could glean any information. Unfortunately, that was not the case. But I'll try to read as much of this as I can to you guys. This article is a little bit blurrier, but we're going to see that Mr. Thevis, that he was a big dirty liar. Big dirty liar. Yes, porn is illegal, but when I show you his business partner, this is where things are going to become different. His business partner owns a daycare. His business partner owns a daycare. They only put ads in the newspaper in New Orleans for about 3 months. About 3 months. They lose their license. It's revoked by the state about 3 months after Wayne Williams is convicted. Is it related? I don't know. But why are people like that owning a daycare? Especially at that time. One has to wonder. Because I'm going to show you the types of movies that this business partner's in. Because these people are scumbags. They are absolute trash. But this fits into that idea of like this type of network, right? This literally fits into that. It fits into the mold. Hello, Franz Marks, and hello, Glass of Water. D. Bernardo. Well, he might be. That might be a name that's on here. We're going to find out. And let me make sure. Coincidentally, the FBI later used his business as a sting to investigate a fellow in the Morgan Nick case. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, I want to know how they got a daycare license to Mae Brussels Project, because it's just the guy gets married, it's his name on the business. And the ad is shady as hell. It like really, I don't know, it gave my stomach like that elevator drop feeling, especially when I saw that the license was revoked like 90 days after Wayne Williams was convicted. But let's go ahead and take a peek at the mob stuff real quick. Okay. So, city smut items traced to the mob, September 15th, 77. So, books and magazines that are published and distributed by mafia-linked organizations are being sold in Columbus porno shops. Star Distributors Limited of New York and Peachtree News Incorporated of Atlanta are linked to notorious East Coast crime families, and both companies' products are being sold in Columbus. Obviously, I'm underlining the names of all the bookstores because, yes, I will come back and I will be looking up every single stupid name because I'm making a massive map. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so right here. Oh, look, there it is, the name. Whoever asked, I'm sorry, I don't remember, but there it is. So, from its Manhattan base, Star Distributor owns or controls hundreds of corporations which create, publish, and distribute smut throughout the U.S. The man behind the Star Empire is Robert DiBernardo, identified in confidential police reports in Florida and Georgia as a soldier of the Sam the Plumber de Cavalcante mob of New Jersey. Another police investigation labels the Star Group as a front for the porn interest of a massive crime network controlled by the heirs of the late Carlo Gambino, the boss of all bosses of the mafioso. Star's many publishing companies. Shoot, sorry guys. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and read all these names, but it says it's connected to California sex film operations. Peachtree News mafia connections are shrouded by corporate superstructures, but the company's ties all wind up in the lap of Michael Thevis, the much publicized organizer of an Atlanta-based smut network. Thevis has been in jail since '72 for several different convictions relating to pornography, but Florida police claim the millionaire porn king is still making major decisions for his operations from his jail cell. Does that sound like anybody recently that was in prison, quote unquote, that was still able to go to work and do what they needed to do, and maybe not, definitely didn't take their own life? Yeah? Anyways, moving on. Let me see. So, When Thevis went to prison, most records of corporations under his wing were changed to the name of Laverne Bowden, who was the secretary in the Thevis organization. Through Bowden and others, Thevis still controls the publishing and distributing network, which reaches from Atlanta to California and to the streets of Columbus. Many of his ties to the East Coast Mafia are through his personal friend and business associate, Robert DiBernardo of the Star Empire. A conversation between Thevis and DiBernardo, recorded in police reports, reveals this connection. Thevis was bragging about how he controls 90% of the Peep Show's sex film operations in the United States. Shoot, sorry guys, this thing keeps timing out on me. Don't forget, Mike, DiBernardo reportedly said, you manage the machines. The family is in charge. A Florida police detective says these people in New York control who's going to be in charge. A stranger doesn't start producing the stuff and start selling it, not if he wants to deal in large quantities. And Peachtree News operates through its holding company of Fidelity Leasing Co., and it lists a whole bunch of other names. And Peachtree's day-to-day management is apparently done by several persons, but they still ultimately report to their imprisoned boss. One of those insubordinates is Willie Bittner, who, according to a Fort Lauderdale police document, is a go-between for the Peachtree companies and Ettore Zappi. Last time. A reputed contact for the mafia families of Joe Colombo, Carlo Gambino, and the Florida network controlled by Santo Trafficante. Thevis's ties to Columbus were obvious when he was out of jail and still in personal control of his operation. So there you go. There you go. So now at least we've gotten that out of the way. There's his mafia ties, right? There's his mob ties. Straight from the horse's mouth. Okay? Isn't it amazing how he lies like that? Is it amazing? No, it's not amazing. It shouldn't surprise anybody. Let me see. He got clipped for making kitty stuff. Well, yeah. Sounds familiar. Dana, cameras not working, doors unlocked. Oh, you're talking about Epstein. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, my camera's working and my doors are locked. Yeah, sounds like Epstein. You're absolutely right. In the 70s and 80s, Peachtree Street in Atlanta was known for prostitution. Not sure if it's still that way. Well, we're having a tough time. I mean, I have the registration address of the process, like when they incorporate in Georgia, but I know for a fact that they're there earlier. I just have that really weird address with Sister. It's not even an address. It's the photo bird. All those weird ads from Sister Bernadette. So I don't know. The archives in Georgia are pretty dry, which doesn't surprise me since this seems like a massive cover-up. But it's just my opinion. Let me see. The mob controlled all porn in New York. I remember a pornographer named Harvey Schneider who was rubbed out by the Gambinos for talking too much. Shady smut peddler or misunderstood purveyor of fine filth. I would say really shady, disgusting smut peddler. Straight up. Like, I don't judge people for, what they're doing, but this dude is a scumbag. Like, he's a piece of trash. No streetwalkers on Peachtree now. Well, that's good. That's great. I'm glad. I mean, again, I'm not telling people what to do with their bodies, man. I ain't about that social justice nonsense. But, like, is it the best idea, ladies? No. Is it the safest idea? No. If we take the emotion out of it and just be realistic, not a good idea, right? Not a good idea for anybody. Now, let's go ahead and just look at this stuff about Carter really quick, because I've got to try and figure out if I can track this money, if there's a way to prove with these donations, because on my Twitter, I showed about the DeGrimstons donating to Biden's campaign. Surprise! I think they donated like multiple times. I think they donated to Obama too. And I don't care about politics. I just think that it's very fascinating that the DeGrimstons donated to Biden's campaign. I think it's very, kind of makes me laugh. But let's go ahead and take a peek here. All right, so this is the Griffin Daily News, October 28th, 1977. Thevis denies rumors that he donated to Carter. So, he denies rumors that he ever gave or was asked to give any money to a Carter administration official to secure his early release from prison. Thevis said he never gave a nickel to President Carter or the United Nations Ambassador Andrew Young. Never asked, never offered. Okay. So he blamed a former prison inmate with starting what has become a persistent rumor that he offered or paid money to Young or his aides. Well, we're going to kind of see about that. We're going to kind of see about that. Federal officials in Atlanta and Washington are investigating Thevis, apparently because of his attempts to get out of prison. I think that that is super fascinating, though. I think it's very interesting. He added, I offered to talk to him man to man, and he has not contacted me yet in regards to the state's attorney. Yeah. Thevis told the Constitution he is in a financial bind, and he has put up for sale at $3.2 million the Atlanta mansion he purchased. The one that he was going to give away to the city for gifted kids. The exact same house. Seems to me that the lady doth protest too much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let me see if I can find the one article that talks about him getting let out of jail early, because there was a lot of pleading of the fifth. Yeah, a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Let me see if I can find it. I might not have it ready for you guys. Give me 1 second, because like I said, we're going to be coming back and talking about this a lot more, but yeah, we'll come back. All right, we'll come back to it. It's fine. Let me see who else popped in. Austin, hello. Yeah, it's heavy. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm not here to have fun or make friends. I'm sorry. Just here to nerd out through, this complete insanity that, this dude's nuts. I'm going to show you guys. This dude tried to sue Jim Garrison. Jim Garrison of JFK fame. He tried to sue Jim Garrison. This guy's crazy. This guy was completely nuts. Hello, O Tiger Lily. And let me see. Biden and Commander and Major. And we know where those two came from. Yeah, well, I know that, was it Commander? That was the first one? The first dog? Yes, I think Obama got his dog from Best Friends. And I think the first Biden dog came from Best Friends. And then the most recent one that got in trouble for biting people, that one came from a Best Friends sponsored humane society, which means that it essentially came from Best Friends. You know what I mean? Because where that money is, you can assume that they're bought and paid for. But I mean, that's just my 2 cents. Now let me see, because I want to show you guys this lawsuit with this lawyer, because then we're going to talk about the business partner, his buddy, his pal. So let me see. Here it is. Okay. And hopefully the screen won't screw up on me. All right. And there we go. All right. So let me pull this one up. So these are the NOLA papers. So when you guys see the little blue and the highlight is yellow with like a little blue line around it, this is New Orleans. I have to pay every month to have access to these, and they limit how many articles you can look at. But there's a good reason why, because there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of crazy stuff in there. I've found stuff about the process in there that I've never seen anywhere else. So it's well worth it to me. All right, so let's go right up here. I just clipped part of the article because this was super duper long. But Thevis came to New Orleans to open outlets for adult books and control their operation from Atlanta, right? So this is an obscenity suit against him. And right here, this is naming his lawyer, one of his lawyers. So you see Ronald Tennant, that's what's highlighted, and the name above it, Michael Silvers. They're going to tie in here in a second. Now, let me see, where is the stuff about Garrison? Where is it? Oh, I might not have it on this slide, guys. I know that this ended up in a mistrial. Hold, please. Hold, please. I have so much stuff to show you guys about him. It's freaking ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't really know what I should show. And it's, kind of overwhelming, obviously, because of the topic. You know what I mean? Because it's dark. Because whether people like it or not, my goal is to make the argument that this is all related to the process. And it's not me pinning everything on the process. But where they go, this kind of insanity follows. And it is what it is. I don't care if people like it or not. I don't care. Let me see. You know what? Screw the Garrison stuff. I'll save the Garrison stuff with this guy for when we talk about Garrison and the aliens and the Wandering Bishop. Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on because there's just too much here. It's too much. It's too much because this dude is getting in trouble all over the country, and so are all of his business partners. But don't you think it's kind of weird that his two business partners are also his defense attorneys in New Orleans? I think that that's kind of weird. One might call that a conflict of interest. Maybe? Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. Now, I'm going to go ahead. Let's just get into the meat of it for the time being. Because you're going to be seeing a lot of weird names, a lot of people that maybe you haven't heard of. Okay. Let me see when they opened Apogee. So, all right, let's go ahead and look. So, Wayne Williams. What does he have to do with any of this? Apogee Studios. Okay. This is what we've got. This is where Wayne Williams worked. Don't think I'm not thinking about Jimmy Comento either. So, right here, it says Apogee Incorporated. And right there, the official documentation from the Secretary of State. And they changed their name to the Sound Pit. And right there. So there is the corporate records. Okay. Now, right here, this is from the book The List by Chet Detlinger. This book, if you try to find it, is hundreds of dollars. The PDF version that is available is kind of difficult to read. I am assuming that this is because this book literally shows that none of this stopped after Wayne Williams was arrested. And again, the safety commissioner was involved in the publication of this book. But still another published report stated that Wayne Williams used to take his Gemini recording group, named after the astrological sign of Williams, who was born on May 27, 1958, to the Apogee recording studio on Simpson Street. The posh studio, complete with grand pianos, jacuzzi, whirlpool, and sauna, had been owned by Mike Thevis, 52, who had turned the 25-cent peep show, among other things, into an estimated $100 million pornographic enterprise. With Thevis in federal prison, the IRS auctioned away the studio in June of 1981 for $370,000. The new owner said he had been threatened by an anonymous male telephone caller before the auction. The caller, he said, told him, "You bid, you die." At both the studio formerly owned by Thevis and another studio where Wayne Williams reportedly had worked, vandalism occurred after Williams was implicated in the Atlanta murders. Expensive equipment was smashed and recordings were destroyed. Some investigators asked a valid question. Were the voices of any of Atlanta's young murder victims on those recordings that had been destroyed? Or was there something else of interest? One recording studio owner claimed it was the police who had broken in. This stuff just is like so dark. It's so dark. But right here, 1981, IRS sells Thevis firm's property. And this list right here, formerly called the Sound Pit, Apogee Recording Studios have complete facilities for making master tapes from which records are made. The FBI estimated that Thevis once controlled 40% of the adult movie and book businesses in the United States. Yeah. So yes, Wayne Williams worked for Mike Thevis. Yes, he did. And that's literally just one sentence out of that book. Like, we're going to be coming back to that again and again and again. But it is an important question. Were any of those victims, including all the victims that were left off of the list, because there's a lot, Were any of them left off? Were any of them destroyed? I know it's not nice to think about. It's not certainly things that I like to think about, but there's been no justice here. There's been no justice here, in my opinion. And I know that some people like really don't want me to talk about this. Some people have asked me to specifically not talk about this. I don't care. Like I said, I'm not here to make friends. And, as we work through the list and I tighten all of this up, get through a lot of these extra names, but I got to show you this business partner because he's the most important to me right now. As we work through this, I think it's going to make a lot more sense to people because it's not just the one woman that I showed you guys in the last episode about this who was talking about reports of cult activity. There were a lot of reports of cult involvement. Thevis was in Florida, Thevis was in New Orleans, and Thevis was in Georgia. He was also in New York. He was also connected to the mafia, right? So these things are not really a stretch. Now, obviously, as you guys saw in the papers, he had 1 million corporations under him, right? I mean, not literally 1 million, but he had a lot. This one, though, for whatever reason, yesterday I was looking and I stumbled onto a gold mine of hell. I guess you could really just call it a gold mine of hell. So let's go ahead and look. Okay, so this is the Silver Thevis Music Company, or Silver T Music Company. Remember Michael Silvers and Ronald Tennant, his lawyers? Yeah. So there they are opening this business with him. This isn't the only business that they open with him either. However, there are the corporate records. That way you guys can see. There it is. So that's him. Now, who is Ronald Tennant? Well, he is a big, fancy lawyer in New Orleans. Now, in this case, later on, he is filing a lawsuit against New Orleans again in regards to what he calls unethical raids on adult bookstores, right? But this is a trend with him. And eventually we'll do like a real deep dive on him. But he is one of the most shady lawyers that I have ever found. And right here, Sleaze and Gore get local accent in new film. So, yes, Michael Thevis's lawyer and business partner, Ronald Tennant, starts getting into some really weird movies. I'm going to show you guys what movies. I'm going to at least show you the ads that I found. But first, here is a photo. While he is a demon, I still have to give credit for the nice hair. So that's fair. Very beautiful woman. Whatever. Her name is Maureen Chan. No clue who she is. Apparently, this was called the Crypt of Dark Secrets. And they recruited 4 local folks to be in it. I don't know why. I think that that's kind of weird, but whatever. And that little request that he had for them to not raid these adult shops didn't happen. Nope. He said, nah. We've had enough of your nonsense. Now, just to show you guys the kind of power that this dude has, okay? He has a lot of money. A lot of money. Business partners with Glenn Morris. There was a lot of weird stuff going on in Audubon. So I am going to be coming back to that as well, because this dude has a lot of extremely suspicious ties. The most prominent being that he was friends with Barry Seal. So, Tampa Tribune, 1991. Hop and Hopper. So there was a movie coming out called Double Crossed. It was going to be on HBO. And it was based on the real life and murder of Louisiana pilot and former marijuana dealer Barry Seal. Okay. The film was produced by former Tampa resident Ronald Tennant, a Louisiana attorney who was one of Seal's friends. Oh, okay. All right. Now, down here. What this is 4 days before. So, Ronald Tennant says that when he left Tampa in '87, he was fat, broke, and ugly. Okay, business deals went sour for this jack of many trades, lawyer, entrepreneur, and part time filmmaker. Let's just say I was in the import export business while I was in Tampa in the '80s and I had problems. Oh, do you mean like Barry Seal? Do you mean like Barry Seal, sir? That's my question. And at the time of this article, he has offices in Louisiana and LA. He's made a couple of made for TV movies and an MTV music special. So imagine that. Now, these are the movies that he was in. Whoops. And whatever. I don't know if these are like actually porn or not. It penetrates beyond the darkness of sexual possession, the crypt of dark secrets. I'm sorry, but the ad line for this is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. The dead do return to live again and again and again. Like, shut up. That is so corny. So corny, and it's so stupid. But there's another one. And then apparently he was in Mardi Gras Massacre in 1982. And that was only the beginning. It's like, God, these are like so corny. These are so corny. Now, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to look at the chat. Whatever. You guys are just going to have to deal with my brain being fried from looking at these complete monsters for the past like 24 hours. Because now I'm going to show you the daycare after this. But let me say hello because I saw that Leash came in. So I want to say hi. And let me make sure because I think I missed other people. So Williams worked for Thevis. Can't make this stuff up. The Atlanta stuff is so dark. Yeah, the Atlanta stuff is extremely dark. Yep, sure is. Let me see. I know nothing on this topic about an old pedo man who paid the kids. Never put the two and two back together back then. The underworld is a small place and they all know each other. That's right, Gary Bellwood. Obama got his dog from a breeder. Oh, okay. BFAS gave him ish about it. Okay, well then that makes sense. Of course they would. Whatever. I can't stand them. Let me see. Wonder what Anne Rice knows. Just thinking. Ronald Tennant's character was named Ted Watkins. Yes, not Tex Watkins, but Ted Watkins. That's very interesting. Let me see. And hold on, the chat's moving. Carnage on Ice channel on YouTube does an excellent doc on Barry Seal. That's great. Thank you for the recommendation. I am totally going to dig into that. And oh, I think I know what channel you're talking about. The Boys on the Tracks. I think I know what you're talking about because I think I've watched that one and he did a really good job. He did a fantastic job because I know that it was pretty recent, that documentary that I watched. So I will check out the other one because I don't think that I saw the one about Barry Seal. These types of folks participate in crazy rituals during Black Friday and the Saturday before Easter. Ask Biden about his cancer fund. I'm not asking anybody about any cancer funds. And hello, Leash. And let me see. Of course, they ran a daycare. How typical. They are all the same evil. Yes, they are. They are absolutely the same evil. Now, this was literally me cross-referencing the names in open corporates. Because this is how you find all the shell companies, right? But you guys saw like all those bookstore names. I've got to come back. I've got to look at all of those. But this makes me very upset. This makes me very upset because these people have no business owning this. And I mean, this is it. So that ad up there, Koala Daycare Center, September 5th, 1976. Licensed, ages 3 months to 5 years. There's about 5 or 6 ads in total in the Times Picayune or Picayune. I don't know if I'm saying it right. That's it. And when I say that there's a few ads, it's like ads within the same year. So that's a really big red flag to me. And you can see down here, whoop, oh no, there we go. And you can see down here where it was revoked. May 13th, 1982. Roughly 3 months after Wayne Williams was convicted. Is it related? I don't know. I don't know. But why do they why are they involved in that? Hmm? It's not the only business that they had together. These guys also had No Lanta Music Company, Michael Silvers, Michael Thevis, Ronald Tennant. Hmm? I don't know. I don't know. It's not a different Tennant, Gary Bellwood. I cross-referenced everything. I've triple, quadruple checked. It is not a different Tennant. Trust me. With the Louisiana records, I've gotten pretty familiar with identifying in the Louisiana files who it is. And that's him. Because that street that it's on, uh, Gravier Street, that's where a lot of their businesses are. That's where a lot of them are. That's the same person. That's the same person. So, Michael Thevis, the Scarface of porn, the Sultan of smut, who Wayne Williams worked at Apogee, that was owned by him. He and Ronald Tennant are in business together, and Ronald Tennant is also his lawyer. And Ronald Tennant has a daycare. And Ronald Tennant is also starring in like gore porn, I guess. That's kind of like the way that they described it, right? And you guys just saw an excerpt from Chet Dutlinger talking about how recordings were destroyed. Some people saying it was done by the cops. Yeah. It's just stuff to think about. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers here. I wish that I did. I wish that I had more answers. Um, I'm going to show you guys. I mean, this is such a crappy map. I've got so many more like dots to add to this map. This is like the first map that I made weeks ago. I haven't updated it in weeks. I'm just going to show you guys at least so that you can see, you know, this is just the start of what's going on in New Orleans. Now that I've identified the shell companies and everything else that's going on, that way you guys can see just how close they are to the process in New Orleans, right? So New Orleans, I'm going to show you guys, is by the La Laurie Mansion. I believe that's how you pronounce it. La Laurie. Okay, so here we go. I know my maps are super ghetto. Yeah, so that one, I wish you guys can't see my finger. I'm an idiot. Okay, so the one that's not just like a regular circle, so that's the process, right? So everything that is a dot is owned by Thevis, but this is literally the first map that I've made. This is the first map that I've made. I have at least 9 more addresses to add into this. At least 9. And it's like, okay, yeah, you know, it's a different time and, you know, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. There's more. But there, you guys have seen the first stage of that map. I am ashamed of that map. It is super ghetto. However, I do think that it's relevant. I also think that it's helpful for people to see it for themselves. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think it's helpful. It gives people a visual. Some people are more visual. And it's a hard topic. It's tough. I don't like it. I would ask everybody to like ban me from the internet if I got enjoyment from talking about these types of topics. You guys don't understand how upset these topics make me. And I'm not going to get upset. I'm just saying. Now, we are not going to sit here and read through the stupid little questionnaire of his. However, there is an interview with Mr. Thevis, and I think that just the like headline of the newspaper, well, I don't think that he's lying. I don't think that he's lying, and I think that this is also something for people to consider. I was not the biggest dealer in adult materials in the country. Says he's used as a scapegoat. Yeah, I think so. I think that this might be the most honest statement that he's made, quite frankly. In my personal opinion, that's probably the most honest statement that he's made. Because I don't think that he is either, and I think that he probably was a scapegoat. I really do. I think that he was most likely a scapegoat for this entire thing because eventually, what I'm going to do, now you guys at least know who he is, right? Some people don't even know who he is. Now you know. You at least have an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and we're going to kind of like break everything down. Break it all down. What's going on in Atlanta? What's going on in New York? Because now I have to dig in because now I really want to know who the hell he's working with in New York. I've got to look up that business there. We're going to look at Atlanta. We're going to look at New Orleans. I also want to see what he's doing in California. Because he doesn't start getting in trouble until, I think 67. Yeah. He was starting in, I think, 65. I think he started around 65. That was when everything like really took off for him. So, if that's the case, and he's got this empire that's extending to California, well, that makes things very interesting, doesn't it? Especially when we consider the other things that are going on in California. And I don't think that it's too conspiratorial or too much of a stretch to consider that, considering how much money this dude had. Because he had a ton of money. When we come back to this, I'm going to show you specifically, his old lady helping him out, his dad, him escaping from prison. This dude is he's completely insane. That's all I can say. This dude is a roller coaster of emotions. Do I think he was a scapegoat? Probably. Probably. I think that he was probably a scapegoat to an extent. There's always a fall man, right? There's always a fall man. A parallel that I would ask people to consider, and I know that some people won't just because it's me asking, but I will ask, kind of like David Berkowitz or Wayne Williams. Yeah? Kind of like that. A scapegoat like that. Yeah? Because there's always a fall man, but the network continues. There's always a fall man, but the network continues. Because I have found weird stuff with this dude, and he has like a casino income fund, like this weird shell company set up. Like, there's so much weird stuff with this guy. I can't understate it, but I also can't sit here and like show you guys everything right now because my brain will break. Now, I'm trying to find this one freaking article and I can't find it. And if I'm not able to find it, I'm just going to let it go. And then we're just going to, be done with it for today. Sorry if this wasn't that exciting to everybody. Wasn't really looking forward to this. Wasn't really looking forward to it. If you kind of have been paying attention, I've been putting it off. Yeah, I've been putting this off. It's not because I'm not prepared to talk about it. It's because I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. Because I know that there's some people don't care. It is what it is, But there are people, loved ones, kids that will never know. Will never know. And that's why I don't like talking about it. Because it bums me the fuck out. It bums me the fuck out. Now, I'm going to look at the chat in just 1 second. There's one thing that I have to find. It's going to drive me freaking nuts. So talk amongst yourselves for a second because I know I have it in here. Got it. Okay, let me show you guys this one last thing. Just so you guys can like see the relevance that it's not like just about porn, right? Because it's like I'm not like sitting here saying like, Bill, you can't like watch porn, whatever. Like, do whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to think. However, right here, this is one of the first investigations in New Orleans, and this is the only thing that I'm going to show you guys right now that I have any concern with. Officers said that if convicted, the 5 arrested could get a maximum sentence of a year for the sale of pornography or 5 years hard labor for sales to juveniles. Okay? And if you see this article over here, 9 states. Indictment charges state that the mailings began in 1967. So that's part of Thevis's network. I had to show you guys that. I've got more to show you about other inappropriate things that they were doing with minors that some newspapers were willing to bring up. However, at least now you guys can see that I'm not, just pulling it out of thin air, right? I'm not pulling it out of thin air. These people are protected. This network is protected. And I understand this isn't like the first network, not the last network, but there's serious injustice here. There's serious injustice. There is a lot of things that haven't been talked about. And there's a lot of people that don't know that Wayne Williams has a connection to Michael Thevis and that Michael Thevis is literally connected to the mob and that he also, his business partner owned a daycare. Right? Among some other really, really fucked up stuff that we're going to talk about. Because there's other weird, dark things about this case. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot. What I will tell you, though, and hello, Steve Sipos. I know you've been trying to catch a live. Hello. What I will tell you guys is, my opinion, and I'm allowed to have an opinion, so don't rake me over the coals for it. I don't believe that Wayne Williams is guilty of harming any children. I don't. And I think when you study this case deeply and thoroughly, and don't you think it's kind of weird that the only book that really talks about it is like hundreds of dollars and it's out of print, and the only PDF that's available is pretty hard to find and is not formatted the best. But then when you actually start reading through like the FOIA files and the police reports, because I'm doing that too. I'm not using one source to make my argument. But, I am of the opinion. I have a different opinion about David Berkowitz. I think that he has made his choices. And I don't believe that, he's innocent by any means. Do I think that he acted alone? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that the notion is preposterous, tomfoolery, shenanigans. No. But Wayne Williams? No. No. Because I had not looked in Chen Detlinger's book. I told you guys I looked at the FOIA file with Pimento, right? Remember, that's our little bit of humor, Pimento. And so I was like, oh, let me look up Pimento in Chet Detlinger's book. There's all kinds of juicy tidbits in there. So we're going to be coming back to that because, there seems to be a consistent theme, trend with task force and people infiltrating them. Yeah, volunteer firefighters, volunteer cops, things of that sort in these types of cases. People who would have the ability to get close to the investigation, right? Not saying that anyone's steering something one way or the other. And I'm not calling anybody a criminal. I am saying, though, that I do not believe that Wayne Williams is guilty of killing any of those kids. I just don't. I don't. And, if that makes people upset or people want to argue with me, I'm just letting you know I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue. I don't do arguments and comments. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I don't have time to do it. I value your time and I value my time. Let's not waste each other's time. I will present my argument best that I can. Obviously, I get real scatterbrained about certain topics, and so the stream doesn't flow as well. I get a little bit emotional. What can I say? I'm a big softie, right? But that's okay. I'd rather not pretend that I'm dead inside like some people, yeah. But I'm not going to debate with people about it. I'm allowed to have my opinion, as is everybody else, you know. But and discourse obviously is fine. But I'm not going to debate with people about it. I'm just letting you guys know because I am officially going on record and stating I don't think that Wayne Williams is guilty of harming any of those kids. As far as murdering them. I think, well, there's some reports out there about maybe he was involved in some other stuff. So, I'm talking about the crime specifically, though. That's just my 2 cents. I try to be as transparent as possible about my feelings towards a situation because I don't consider myself true crime. I don't consider myself true crime. I hate true crime. I really don't like it. I feel like I'm trying to do like history, like live research, not like history like the Smithsonian or something. I'm just saying, like, whatever. I'm gonna look at the chat and then I'm gonna shut the hell up because yeah, this stuff makes me emotional, guys. I don't do well with this. I don't think I ever will. I hope that I don't. And Ashura Alchemy, thank you so much. Most police officers work for the system and can't be trusted. The good officers get pushed out of the force. Well, I don't know. I don't have the opinion that like all cops are bad. I don't feel that way. And I know that that's like a controversial take, depending on whatever, where you're at or who you're with. But I have to have some hope in humanity that it's not just the failed jocks from high school, right? Because like we all know those types. Uh, that there are people out there who want to do the right thing, who try to do the right thing, but we understand being based in reality that they are up against a system that they cannot defeat. And so, we can only hope and pray that they do their best, you know. But I mean, I would hope that if I called the cops, if I needed them, that they would be able to help. But worst case, that's why I carry. You know what I mean? Just in case. Because I am very short and I don't have a lot of time. So if the popo don't show up, I'm coming with the pew pew. Now, let me see. I didn't know what PC was until I moved to Texas. I love it. PC, what do you mean? Politically correct? Good not to argue with comments. See, creators do it all the time, and most likely that person will never flip. I will let people troll for a little bit, Juice Estate. Like, I will let people troll me pretty hard before I block them. And it's like, okay, are you trolling me or like, are we being serious? And then I will publicly shame them by blocking them and saying you are blocked for, acting like a silly troll, but you have to troll me really hard. But then you're going to get your public spanking. That's just how I roll. It's not me like playing victim. It's just like, there you go. The bell of shame, like shame, shame. That's how it has to go. This is very old history at that. You are exposing the evil. I hope you are right, Dana. Well, we have to have hope. You know what I mean? It's like me working in healthcare. I could think that like everybody coming in is like sadomasochistic maniac, but it's like, no, I have to have hope. Have to have hope. The people want to come in and heal and not just operate from medical books, right? But that's also very difficult. SOS has been screwing with my brain since 1987. Well, it's been screwing with my brain since Leash. When did we meet, Leash? I think that it has been screwing with my brain since October? Maybe October? I don't know. I think that that is when that happened for me. So, for the people that have been working on this stuff for such a long time, oh, PC is pimento cheese, okay? I thought you meant politically correct. Uh, I haven't really been on the Son of Sam thing for a long time. I haven't. It is what it is, you know. I literally never watched anything about the Son of Sam. I said, dude, said he talking to a dog? And then when I started reading about the process, I said, "That's a process." I said, "What is this nonsense?" And then the one letter that talked about fair game, and I was like, "Open and shut case, Justin." I didn't realize it was such a hot mess. I was like, "This is a wrap." I was like, "This is Scientology in the process." But little did I know, the process made me find you. Yeah, well, little did I know. My journey into all of this was, not what I expected or anticipated, but here we are. Here we are, the process princess trying to correct the historical record. I'm not going to sit here and ramble. I know that all of this makes me a bit moody, a bit weepy, whatever. Hey, at least I didn't cry, right? Um, Eventually, we'll come back. We're going to dig into those mob ties because that's really fascinating to me. Mafia history, mob history is very interesting to me. Plus, I got to show you the stuff with Garrison. But that'll be cool because I can tie in the lawsuit with Garrison and then show you the weird wandering bishop stuff. And then we could talk about aliens for a little bit for the people that have been wanting me to talk about aliens. That'll be your moment. That'll be your moment. Because otherwise, I don't care about the alien stuff. But I do think that it's interesting, especially the timing of all of this stuff going on. I and May Brussel hooked me up and sent me some Garrison files. I'm really stoked to go through them and see what I could find. Because I wonder if I don't know. I feel like they would be making like alien porn. Like dressing up like aliens, not actual aliens. I just feel like there's always been a weird market for weird things. So you just gotta wonder if they were doing that back then. I don't want to see it, but we'll see what I can find. So I'm going to leave it here for now, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. And I hope everyone has a good day.